Hello everyone and welcome to another real estate video. This is Javier Vidania, the real estate YouTube guy in Phoenix, Arizona, helping you accomplish your home goals. So when is it the right time to buy? Well, if you ask your realtor or lender, they're probably going to tell you now because they want you to buy now because they want to get paid now. So who do you really trust? Well, if you trust a guy on YouTube that you don't really know, welcome to today's video. Today's video is kind of breaking down using actual numbers in my city and state of what's happened over the last 3 years to kind of determine what is the proper time to buy a home. Now, the usual impression of this is this, and this is what I've thought for many years, is that, you know, beginning of the year, everybody sells their house because they were waiting because they didn't want to put it on for sale during Christmas time. And then they kind of hold off during the school year because they don't want to really sell or do anything while the kids are at school. During summer, everybody lists their house because, you know, the kids are out of school. And then after that, it kind of slows down, right? That's just the general common sense thing I've always thought, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have thought. But after looking at the numbers, I found some very interesting trends that I want to talk about. Now, keep in mind, this is just my city and state. Yours can be different, but still an interesting topic to discuss. I decided to break the last 2 years down in thirds. I know I could have done every 3 months, but I was able to get more success processing the numbers, looking at it every third. So when I say first third, I mean January 1st to April 30th. When I say second third, I mean May 1st to, August 31st or 30th. And when I say third, I mean September 1st to December 31st. Got it? Cool. All right, let's go. First things first, in 2017, one thing I noticed is the first third is going to be already 30,000 new listings. And then if I look at the rest of the year, the second third was 34,000 new listings. And the third is going to be the 29,000 new listings. So it seems to me that there was more new listings on the second third. If I look at 2018, I see something similar. The first third was 32,000 listings new on the market. Second third was 35,000 new listings, and the third being 27,000. So already off the bat, I can tell you, if you're looking for more, not to say opportunity, but more a selection of inventory, it seems like the second third is going to be your best bet. If you're looking towards the end of the last third during the holiday season, well, you're going to have less, I don't want to say opportunities, that's the wrong word. You're going to have less selection from houses to pick from. But that doesn't necessarily equate to the change affecting the other numbers. Because let me explain this. The second thing I was looking for was the list to sold price. Now what I did here is I got the average list price of the whole year of the third. So in this case is $296,000 for January 1st to April 30th of 2017. That list price was $296,000 with $7. That was the average. And the average sold price was $288,476. So after doing a little math, basically I can determine that houses this third sold for 97% of their value. So there was about 3% deducted from the actual sale price. So I'm thinking, at least I've thought this whole time, that, well, you know, maybe towards the end of the year during Christmas time, you can probably find a better deal because there's less inventory. Well, what I found, guys, is that 98% has been consistent. The second third of 2017, 97.62%. Average list price was 308, average sold price was 301. Third of 2017, 97.61. So the list price is increasing, 309, sold price is 302. So regardless of how expensive the market has gotten these houses and raising the average price, it always is the same number list to sold price. First third of 2018, 97.6, average list price 324, average sold price 317. Second third, 97.85, average list 335, average sold is 327. Third, holiday season, doesn't matter if there's less inventory, average list price 332, average sold price 325. It's always, that's in this case 97.81. It always falls at 97%. Looking at the numbers that are being presented to me, the 97% number really never changed in the last 3 years. So you're not going to find much of a super deal during the holidays. This was really shocking to me because I've always been under the impression that I can get a better deal during the holidays. I guess what happens is because houses are still selling 97%, that means that the supply goes down, but it seems like the demand is matching that supply. So even though there's less options, there's less people people looking to buy, and for some reason it's always around the same number, right? So if there was much more demand and there's less supply, then you would think the prices are going to spike during these times, but it looks like it hasn't. And one last factor to consider before I move on is the days on market. Days on market is essentially how long it was from being listed on the market for it being closed, meaning it officially sold. So if I put my house on the market today and it gets an offer accepted today and it takes 30 days to close, and that was 30 days on market. So one thing that I realized that shocked the living shock out of me is I found a pattern that was kind of interesting. So the first third of 2017, the average days on market was 71 days. So it took on average from list to sale 71 days. For the second third, it decreased to 63 days on market. So it took 10 days, about 10 days less to sell a house, so they didn't sit on the market for as long. And the final third, which is the Christmas time of 2017, there was 62 days. So very similar to the second third, it only went decreased 1 day. And it seems every year after has followed this pattern. The first 4 months, the first third, is going to be about 70 to 80 days on the market. And then it decreases for the second or third thirds. So it decreases about 10 to 15 days, and it stays the same for those rest of the year. So I look in 2018, it's the same concept. 66 average days on market for the first third of 2018. It decreases to 56 days for the second third, and if the pattern follows, the third third in 2018 should be very similar, and it is. So it only went up 3 days. So it always seems to follow this pattern. And even in 2019, average days on market for the first third is 66 days. Then for the second third that we just passed, it's 59 days. So if the pattern continues to follow, it should be more resembling the one that just passed. So what does that tell me, breaking it down? Now, it's not affecting the list to sell ratio, like you're not getting houses cheaper. So it seems to me that it's a longer days on market because it's kind of catching up from the less inventory of the previous third, which is the holiday season. So if you've been paying attention closely, you probably noticed that there's only 2 things that have really changed these past 2 to 3 years. I'll let you think about it for a few seconds. Okay, enough time has passed. The one thing that has changed consistently every year is the average sale price. The average sale price has increased steadily, at least in this area. My first batch is January 1st to April 30th in 2017. The average sale price was $296,000. And the one that just passed in 2019 is the average sale price is $345,000. And the second thing that I realized that was really fascinating was when these shifts happen, because the obviously it's increased in value, but if you paid attention to when it has increased in value, I noticed this. So from that first third of 2017 to the second third of 2017, the average sold price went from $288 to $301. So about $12,000 it increased. And from the second third of 2017 to the third third, the prices went up from average sale price of $301,000 to $302,000. So it only went up $1,000. And from the last third of 2017 to the first third of 2018, we saw an average sale price go up from $302 to $317, about $15,000. And believe it or not, this same pattern follows for the following years. So just like last year, the first third to the second third transition went up about $10,000 to $15,000. In 2018, it was about 10. And just as the previous year, that transition from the second to the third third of the 2018 year, it went down $2,000. So what I'm noticing is the transition from January 1st to September is when the actual average price goes up. And it seems to stay stagnant for the last part of the year, meaning although the ratio is still the same, the houses are still selling 97% of the list value, the average price stays about the same for the rest of the year. So I just gave you a bunch of information. I hope you guys followed along. So what does this mean? How can you what can you interpret from this? Well, What I interpret from this is as follows. It doesn't seem like there's ever a time of year that you can get a monster deal where you're gonna save so much money, and if you had bought another time of the year, you were going to save even more money. So this myth of buying cheaper deals has nothing to do with the time of year. It's more a situational thing that happens that you have. If you happen to stumble upon, great. I wouldn't miss out on any opportunities, because you're saying, well, once Christmas hits, then there'll be more opportunities. If you see an opportunity, go for it, or else you're gonna regret it later. The second thing is the most important number that I've noticed was when the actual shifts happen. And to me, like I said, from January to September, that's when there's like the first to second, third transition is when the prices of the average price goes up. And then it stays stagnant for the rest of the year. And that last third to first transition is where prices go up again. What that means, I believe, is that if you're buying a house between January and August, you're probably going to be contributing to the value of the average prices going up, meaning houses are going to be priced a little more expensive. So you're probably going to have to pay that price they're asking for, or maybe you're going to have to overbid to get a house that you really like. For some reason in the market, that's when the transitions of the values go up. So if you buy towards the end of the year, I would say hurry up and close, because if you wait till the following year, then there's going to be a potential, at least in Phoenix, we've seen $10,000 to $15,000 increase of average prices of houses. And if you're buying in the beginning of the year or in the middle of the year, well, then you're going to be like, well, I don't want to pay right now because houses are going up. Well, try to get it as soon as possible, so that way you can lock in the lower price and start benefiting from the equity. So in all, guys, I like to think this: do not let realtors or lenders push you to move sooner on the house that you think you want because it's the time of year to do so. The right time to buy is when you're ready, and trust your gut. If you feel like it's the right time to buy and you feel in your gut like I'm ready to get an own piece of home that's for me, then that's the right time. Never let the news reportings or other realtors or other lenders force you to do it sooner than when you're ready. But just know, just like we discussed in this video, each third has its advantage and disadvantages. Just be aware of what's happening. That way, for example, if you're buying in the second third and you're offering more than the list price, well, then that's because you're in that middle of that increasing period, so you shouldn't be worried. Or if you're buying at the end of the year and there's just not that much inventory in the neighborhood that you want, well, don't worry. That's probably just because it's that time of year and it's going to increase in inventory the following year. So all things to consider. I know this is a lot of detail, so I hope this video helped. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Phoenix, Arizona area, all my contact information can be found below. I am ready and available for your appointment whenever you're ready. Any questions or comments, guys, please leave them below. I really appreciate all your guys' time and energy. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Have a great one. Bye-bye.